guys, welcome to the new video tutorial which will be based on Angular 15th and 16th version. We have designed this tutorial for the beginner. As far as nowadays you guys can see, a lot of web developers are uses the front end as a Angular framework. They are using Angular, they are developing n number of pages with most efficient and less number of logics, and using the Angular nowadays most of the applications are getting designed. Now, with respect to all this concern and how to understand Angular for the beginners, so we have created a playlist for the same, and just gone through with the playlist, you can able to develop your own Angular applications with respect to this content. So in this video tutorial, we are going to start it from very scratch. Okay, that is what the basics of Angular till the programming languages like implementation and Angular with the different databases along with the real-time applications. Now, let us first do understood what kind of course content that we are going to be covered in this Angular tutorial. So we have designed our Angular content from the very basics to advanced level, where you guys can see in the first we are going to check an Angular basics. In the Angular basics, again some certain basic terminology related to the Angular we are going to be cover. Then we will start with components and binding, and yes, that is where the very important role of an Angular using the web application will comes in picture. Then using Angular directives, we will understand how we can able to put a data depends on some certain conditions, or how I can able to put a data with n number of times in my pages at a dynamic websites. Then using Angular forms, we are going to understand how we can able to get and put the data into the Angular and through the HTMLs. Then we are going to use a routing also. Using the routing, we are going to be understand how we can able to route, which means navigate from one page to other page, or one page of component to the other page of component. Then nowadays, if you can check with the Google, any single Google application, they are using the material design for their inputs and for their representation. So how to use an Angular with the material design, that things also we are going to be covered in the course content. Then to be works with n number of database where the Angular is going to be supported. Angular supported for MySQL, MongoDB, Firebase, and for that most important aspect that we required is the Angular services. So we will understand what is services, how to make them create, how to use for MySQL, how to use for MongoDB, and at the same time how to use for real-time Firebase database. And for any single database, we guys are going to check some real-time projects with all these concepts in detail. Now let us do understand, this is what the basic modeling of this course that we guys have designed for you. So let us now understand what is the actual curriculum in the Angular basics, in the components and binding, in the directives till that Firebase. So let us first do understood for the Firebase. So as you guys can see here, so in our Angular basics, we are going to be cover the basic introduction about Angular. What is this Angular exactly, and why nowadays this Angular uses in many applications, and how to install the Angular in our system, how we can create a fresh project in a Angular, and what is the project structure of Angular framework. At the same time, after completion of this, we are going to be understand what are the components in the Angular and how the bindings in Angular can able to perform. So the bindings plays a very important role when it comes to dynamic websites. So we have different types of bindings, kind of property bindings, event binding, two-way binding. Again, using some interpolation, we can able to put some values on a web pages. So that concepts we are going to be understood for the components and binding. After this, We are going to be understand Angular directives. So the what is basics of directives, what is this ng, if, ng for, and most importantly and very popular concept, that is the pipes from Angular, and how we can style any single component using CSS in Angular framework. At a forward to that, we are going to check what are the Angular forms, what are the types of forms, what are like how we can perform the form validations, how we can able to get and put the data from the Angular server to our HTML form. Then next to this, we are going to understand routing, and the routing but obvious having a different concepts in Angular, like lazy routing, the basics routing, route guards, then creating the children components, routing in a children components, how to pass a data from child to the parent component, and how to retrieve the data from parent to the child component. Similar to this, as I said, material design UI, that thing also we are going to be understand here in the course curriculum. So what is this material design, how we can able to set up any material design to our project, how to use different UIs of material designs, and how to use the different themes of material design, including the custom themes also. Apart from this, the major important part, okay, all these parts is uses for a single page applications, but when it comes to the database and all these things, for that we have other curriculum to be decided. So very importantly, if I wanted to works with MongoDB, if I wanted to works with MySQL through the Angular, or a Firebase through the Angular, we required the services. So the basics of this project terminology is to understand the Angular services in detail, where we are going to be understand what is Angular services, okay, how to create the services, how to use them in different components. The basics important part of a services is dependence injections. So what are these dependence injections, what are their types, and how to use these services on a custom modules, and the basic statement management of our services. And we are going to check a lot of live projects in MongoDB database, MySQL, Firebase, and at the last of this video tutorial you guys will understand how we can able to deploy any single project in Angular to the Firebase applications. So in the next video tutorial, we guys will understand what is Angular, how to use this Angular, why the Angular is much more important nowadays, and how we can able to install. So guys, if you new to our channel, please do subscribe and stay tuned for the next video tutorial to understand the Angular framework. Thanks for watching this video. We will meet soon in the next video tutorial.